Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely prometida. And we're waiting for our K1 visa to get adjudicated at the service center in California, USA, way over on the West Coast. And I live in the Panhandle of Florida, near Pensacola, north of Navarre Beach, way over on the East Coast. And Karina is originally from Caracas, Venezuela, but she is a legal permanent resident for now in Bogota, Colombia. And we're like you guys, waiting and waiting and waiting for this visa. And this video is produced by Benny Yao. Benny Yao, our friend, our YouTube supporter. She's a very generous person. And so this video is about the embassy processing at the Ivory Coast Embassy. U.S. Embassy in the Ivory Coast. Come on, let's go. The Ivory Coast, known as Côte d'Ivoire. Now that's the best French I can do, okay? So please don't ask me to repeat it in French, but it's officially called the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire. Ivory. I think I'll stick to Spanish. French is killing me. And it's a country on the southern coast of West Africa, a beautiful country. Its capital city is Yamoussoukro, okay? And it is also in the center of the country, while its largest city and economic center is the port of Abidjan, okay? Abidjan. The Ivory Coast borders Ghana to the northwest, Liberia to the west, Mali to the northwest, Burkina Faso to the northeast, beautiful Ghana to the east, and the Gulf of Guinea on the Atlantic Ocean to the south. The cold Atlantic, oof! The official language of the Ivory Coast is French, but what I like about this country are they have the indigenous languages are also widely used. So they haven't left their indigenous languages behind. You know, languages including Berte, Bourlé, Diola, Dan, Anyin, and Sabara Senufo. Those are the names of the indigenous languages, plus many more. Because in total there are around 78 different languages spoken in the Ivory Coast, including English. And this country is the world's largest exporter of cocoa beans, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're in England, in cold and rainy England, drinking your hot chocolate, you can thank probably somebody at Farmer on the Ivory Coast. In 2009, cocoa bean farmers earned $2.53 billion for their cocoa exports and were projected to produce 630,000 metric tons. And this was back in 2013, so you can imagine what it is in 2023. The Ivory Coast also has over 100,000 rubber farmers, you know, from the rubber trees. And they earned $105 million in 2012. So this country's doing great. And according to the December 14th, 2021 census, the population of the Ivory Coast was 29,389,150. Minus anybody that left because they got their K1 visas, right? Okay. Now let's talk about food, my favorite subject. I love all these different foods around the world. And cuisine in the Ivory Coast is no different. And I look forward to going to the Ivory Coast one day with Karina to try these different dishes. For example, yassa is a popular dish, okay? And it's prepared with chicken or fish. And traditional cuisine in the Ivory Coast is similar to that of its neighboring countries, and its reliance on grains and tubers. Okay, cassava and plantains are significant parts of the Ivorian cuisine, and a type of corn paste called atio. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, my friends in the Ivory Coast. This is used to prepare corn balls, and peanuts are also widely used in many dishes. So they're like peanuts. So if you are allergic to peanuts, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, make sure you ask if you go to the Ivory Coast on vacation if there's peanuts in there in the food. Atieke is also a popular dish made with grated cassava, okay, which is a vegetable-based couscous. Okay, that's for the chefs out there who know what couscous is. Common street food is oloko, plantain fried in palm oil, spiced with steamed onions and chili, and eaten with grilled fish or boiled eggs. That sounds great. And chicken also is commonly consumed and eaten, and it has a unique flavor. The chicken has a unique flavor on the Ivory Coast because of its lean, low fat mass in this region. Okay? And seafood includes tuna, sardines, shrimp, and bonito. And bonito is similar to tuna fish. Mafe is a common dish consisting of meat in peanut sauce. Remember, guys, peanuts for those with the allergies. And they like to make slow simmered stews with various ingredients, which is another common food staple. Ked genu is a fish. Ked genu is a dish consisting of chicken and vegetables, slow cooked in a sealed pot with little or no added liquid. That sounds pretty interesting. And this concentrates the flavors of the chicken and vegetables and tenderizes the chicken also. And it's usually cooked in a pottery jar called a canary over a slow fire or cooked in a regular oven. And bangui is a local palm oil. Okay, guys? Now, Ivorians, they love to go eat out, and when they do, they go to their small open-air restaurants called maquis. Okay, very nice indeed. But now let's talk about K1 visas and the U.S. Embassy at the U.S. Embassy in Côte d'Ivory. Woo! The Ivory Coast. Now, the U.S. Embassy is located in Abidjan, and they have resumed, ladies and gentlemen, routine immigrant visa services. And right here is a statement from the U.S. Embassy in the Ivory Coast. We acknowledge distress and hardships visa applicants have borne due to the reduced operating capacity as a result of COVID, and the necessary measures taken to protect the health and safety or to comply with local requirements, okay? As well as COVID-related limitations on their travel or visa issuance. And the embassy goes on to say that they also recognize the importance of each visa category. All right? However, during the pandemic, U.S. embassies worldwide have been forced to make difficult decisions regarding how consular sections should prioritize visa applications. Okay? So, but with that said, this embassy has overcome and they are processing K1 visas. Now, according to the State Department, the U.S. Embassy in the Ivory Coast has significantly increased processing time for K1 visas, so from 33 to 64 days on average, so a month to 2 months to get in there. And the estimated wait time to receive a non-immigrant visa interview appointment is based basically on the workload and the staffing, and it can vary from week to week. And the information provided is an estimate, okay, guys, and doesn't guarantee availability of an appointment. So you got to keep trying, and keep trying. Please go to this website right here. This is where you go to start a visa application, also through the SEAC website. So when you get your welcome letter, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from the Ivory Coast, sponsors and beneficiaries both, on the welcome letter you will get directions on how to set up your SEAC account, and then you go into the SEAC account, and then you go you page down, look for the Ivory Coast, and then you start your process. Remember, for a K1 visa, you are processing a DS-160 non-immigrant visa because it is considered a temporary visa. It's good for 6 months, and then after 6 months, after it's issued into your passport, it will expire. And once you get to the United States on your K1 visa, you have 90 days to get married. If you don't get married in 90 days, you get deported. So don't mess that part up. And this is the address of the U.S. Embassy on the Ivory Coast, and the phone number is right here. But you know, this phone number, they don't recommend you call it for visa questions, and I couldn't find an email address. Okay, so basically, you get online through the SEAC system, you process your visa, and then you schedule your interview, and then you go. Don't forget the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Central Time, U.S. time, Saturdays at 7 p.m. Central Time, U.S. time, and Sundays at 11 a.m. Central Time, U.S. time. Give me your questions and I'll give you the answers. I'm not an immigration attorney. That's not legal advice, okay, guys? But I have got years and years and years of experience in processing K-1 visas, including spousal visas. Been there, done that. I've been there and done that. And we will see you soon in the United States of America with your K-1 and K-2 visas in your passport. And we can't wait for that day to get here. And we will see you soon.
I'll be back.